I am back. Oh my gosh. I don't know what happened. All I know is I was like frozen and stuck, and it was really, really weird. And yeah, it's like I blacked out for like a second, but then like I popped back on and it just didn't make any sense. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with more ideas um for, not being bored during a digital detox, right? So we talked about kind of reading fiction. That was like the last thing that we had talked about. The next thing is kind of focus more on productivity, right? So when we're talking about productivity, we are talking about like organizing, taking time to organize, right? Maybe you have like a crazy closet. I have a crazy closet. I'm probably going to definitely spend some time reorganizing my closet, because every time I do, then I later on come home with more and more stuff. So yeah, but anyways, I've just too many clothes, too many shoes. It's insane. Um, so, doing that, right? Or maybe you have like a bookshelf, or maybe you just need to, rearrange some furniture, change things around a little bit. Now that you have the time, now that you're not distracted by your devices, that is when you want to do this, okay? Also, another great idea that I'll also myself be doing for sure, I have to, is decluttering. So if you have a lot of whatever it may be, right? Maybe you have like a whole bunch of tchotchkes and stuff around in your house or apartment or wherever you live. And it's like, okay, I don't need all of this. Or maybe even in your kitchen, right? In your kitchen, maybe you have a whole bunch of tools, um, or, well, yeah, tools. Maybe you have a whole bunch of like the smaller appliances. Like maybe you have an air fryer, right? That you just don't use anymore. Well, get all this stuff together and go and donate it, right? Spend the time to kind of do that. When we are in a more like minimalistic state, having like a clear space, having a clear area, having a clear home is much more better for overall productivity. But oftentimes, what happens is we are so busy or so distracted that we don't have the chance to really do a proper like decluttering or anything like that. Another thing, too, is cleaning. So, sometimes people aren't the best about all that. I would say take the time to just clean some stuff up, right? Whatever that may be. Um, Take the time to do laundry, again, doing things that are productive, that are also, like gonna make you feel better, right? Because you're like, okay, I have this handled. I don't have to worry about it now because I have the time and I'm not distracted. Um, and then also to um, finding ways to socialize. So finding ways to socialize without requiring your phone so much, except to maybe make a phone call to be like, hey, yo, let's meet up, you know? Of course, for that, that's absolutely fine. But, try to really reconnect and engage with your family, with your friends. It is so important. And it's awesome too, because now you're going to really be able to be fully engaged, because you're not, again, going to be scrolling or whatever. You're not going to be distracted by other things. I have found this to be really, really helpful when it comes to relationships, but specifically when it comes to your children. When you're able to put away your devices, when you're able to just give your kids some actual like engagement, not the like multitasking, right? Instead of multitasking, practicing doing one thing, right? So spending time with them, or if you don't have kids, you're single, really showing someone that you care about. It doesn't have to be a partner. It can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can be an acquaintance, right? But giving them your full and undivided attention is major. It is so major. It makes them feel good. It's going to make you feel good. And, it's going to also distract you from being on your phone or on whatever device that you're the most kind of addicted to, we'll say. Another thing too is doing something, and I've kind of talked about this before, but I can't talk about it enough, is volunteering, spending the time to volunteer, because when you're volunteering, you're engaging with other people, or you're, like some of my clients, engaging with animals. You're really getting to build some camaraderie, and you might even find new relationships, new friendships, right? New people that you can spend time with, not just volunteering, but outside of volunteering as well. I know that volunteering for me, that enabled me to be able to have a bigger circle of female friends. And that was something that I was definitely lacking in. So I'm really grateful that I have that, them now, and I have that support. Also, learning something new. So this is like my jam, okay? This is my jam. So reading a nonfiction book. This can, again, be some type of self-help book. This can be really anything, right? It can be about history. It can be about whatever you want it to be about, whatever speaks to you. But now that you have the time, go ahead and fill your mind with knowledge. Go ahead and fill your mind with positive things, or just interesting things, right? Because again, I don't want you to be bored. Learning a new skill. So when I'm speaking about my love of like diamond art, right? The reason that I talk about it a lot is because I think it would be something that is incredibly good for people with OCD. Okay. It's kind of like a color by numbers thing, right? Doing diamond art for me is just like, I can do it for, probably like a couple of hours at a time. I really enjoy it. It's something that relaxes me. And I really want to just be, say, when you have that kind of hobby, when you want to learn a new craft, learn a new skill, whatever it may be. A great example of this is learning a new language. So taking the time to learn a new language, I would say that with that, of course, you can use your phone, so you can use Duolingo or whatever app you want to use. But if you can find a book about whatever language it is, do it that way, right? I mean, there's a lot of options when it comes to learning a new language, when it comes to expanding your knowledge in general, and expanding your ability to communicate with other people in different countries, or people that are just here in the US, right? Where I'm at. Being able to engage with more people is always an added benefit of knowing multiple languages. I used to be semi-fluent in Spanish. I'm half Hispanic. I'm from really deep down South Texas. So, I know, I know you look at me and it's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I am. So, I used to be, again, semi-fluent. I can still understand most of it. Give me 1 second. Let me just take a drink of this. It was all that singing and rapping earlier, I'm telling you. So I used to be able to. Now I can mostly just like understand bits and pieces. But for a while I was using Duolingo, and then I got the like plus or the premium, whatever it's called, right? And I really liked it, and I really felt like I was learning something, and it was super helpful. And you're not scrolling, you're not doing anything like that, so you're not going to have the dopamine like sucked out of you. So if you do want to engage in something like that, I would say that's fine to do. Keeping your mind engaged. So I really like Sudoku. I know that's like super old school, but I really like it personally. Um, there's a lot of people that like to do other types of puzzles, or they like to do crosswords. I know this is not something that comes up as often, but at least for this generation that's upcoming, right? But for me, before there were cell phones, before there were any, types of like personal technology devices, um, we had, Sudoku, we had, well, I didn't do crossword puzzles, but I would do like the word searches and things like that. So, kind of going back to a different time, kind of going back to like, okay, this is what people did. This is how they spent their time. Trying it out. I like Sudoku because what it is I believe, yeah, it's 1 through 9, right? And then you're just trying to get them to fit in a specific pattern. And it's just something that I would say is at least going to take up your time and keep you distracted from what you think you may be missing on your devices. You can also, do something with writing, right? So this could be literally anything, like literally anything. You could, like, I know a lot of people don't send cards and stuff like that anymore, but you could always write a letter. You could send a card to someone that it would mean a lot to, especially if you have like elderly family members or something like that that don't live near you. This is a great opportunity to kind of practice, like, okay, like this is going to be something meaningful to them. So let me take the 5 or 10 minutes that it's going to take for me to write this little note or whatever it is. You could write poetry, right? You could write a short story. If you wanted to, you could work on a screenplay. Literally, there's so many options when it comes to writing. Again, you can go back to just journaling, but just keeping your mind occupied. Keeping your mind occupied, that's what the goal of this is, and to not be bored. And there's a lot of people out there who don't even know that they're great writers. They have absolutely no idea. These days when I'm reading stuff, there are so many like misspellings, there's so much like plot holes, there's so much whatever. So I am always in awe of people that, still remember, how it used to be. I sound so old. Oh my, I'm speaking like an old person. Oh my God. But, like writing grammatically correct, that would be nice to see. That would be nice to see online. That would be nice to see, in print sometimes. I mean, there's a story that I could go into, but I won't because I don't think my son would be happy about it. So we'll just move on. And then, of course, right, you can not so much like be drawing or painting, but you can like just sketch and doodle and whatever. I say when you're reading a nonfiction book, it's always good to have a highlighter for certain parts that you want to remember, or whatever it is that you're learning. I also think it's good to have those little like tabs, right? So you can know like, okay, go to this page, go to that page, go to whatever. I do that with a lot of the books that I personally read, just because then it's like I know where to go back to for whatever information that I found to be important. Okay, and then my last little section is engaging in self-care. So I know I talk about this a lot, I know, but it is important. So you can do something to like take care of yourself. Like let's say that even if it comes to just like grooming, to me, that's a part of self-care, okay? Taking like a nice long bath, taking a nice shower, um, I like when my clients follow this advice. So starting your shower hot, right? and then ending your shower as cold as you can for up to 5 minutes. Okay. It just kind of sends a shock to your system. It kind of wakes you up. It's great to do in the morning, especially too. I wouldn't say to do the cold shower at night because that will actually, it's going to kind of keep you up a little bit because you're shocking your nervous system. But, doing other things too, like for women, it could be, doing their makeup, doing their nails, whatever it may be. But for my men out there, just taking the time to, practice self-care for in whatever capacity that is for you. It can just be cutting your nails. I mean, it can be whatever, right? But just doing something that makes you feel better about yourself. Maybe it's, dressing in something different, like instead of wearing like sweats and old t-shirt, right? Maybe wearing just something different, just to kind of change your mood, just to kind of change your style, just to kind of change how you feel about yourself. Because oftentimes the way that we dress is the way that we really kind of feel about ourselves, right? And I'm not even talking about you having to go out and show the way that you're dressed to anybody. I'm talking about doing this just for you. This is something intrinsic. I talk about this a lot too, but gratitude, right? Practicing gratitude. So honestly, just reflecting on it, just kind of thinking about all the things that you're grateful for, especially now that you have time, now that you're not distracted, now that you have more dopamine, just thinking about all the things that you're grateful for and just being glad. What that does is gratitude is one of the highest frequency emotions there is. So while some people may not agree with me 100% on energy and things like that, that's totally fine. I will tell you that gratitude is really good for raising your vibrational frequency, but also it's really good for like mental health stuff too. It's good for stress, because what it's going to do is it's going to take your perspective outside of whatever it may be that's a little bit negative potentially. And now you're going to be in a place of gratitude. Think about all the things that you're grateful for. And then all your problems are going to seem so much smaller when you think that way, as opposed to thinking about, oh, this sucks, that sucks, this is going on. And, it's like, try to get into a place of gratitude. That's, I think, the quickest and the best way to get out of negative thinking, to get out of a victim mindset, right? And then the last thing I have is mindfully eating. So, what does this mean? People are like, how the hell do you mindfully eat? Well, what you do is you take time to like slowly eat your food, to actually like chew up your food. That word, mastication, something like that. Anyways, I'm like trying to go back to high school biology. Anyways, so actually like chewing your food fully, right? Because what does that mean? What happens? You are able now to absorb all those nutrients. You are now able to actually take in all of the nutrients so much better, instead of forcing your stomach to do a whole bunch of extra work that it doesn't need to do. Okay. It's paying attention to the sound of your fork hitting the plate. It's paying attention and being aware. Oh, thank you so much for the like. I appreciate you. Thank you. It's paying attention to the aroma of your food. It's paying attention to just what you're drinking, what you're eating, the flavor, really like being like and enjoying the flavor of your food and really like engaging in that, right? Again, trying to be single focused as opposed to multitasking. That is a big, big, big thing. And if it's something that you can practice when you're doing a digital detox, then that is fantastic. Okay, so what I do want to touch on is the amount of time to spend on a digital detox. So for some people, all of these things, it's not going to matter, right? Because they're maybe going to want to just do it for short periods or short bursts of time. So that could be 30 minutes, that could be an hour. I'm going to be doing approximately 48 hours. There's going to be obviously some times where I'm going to have to check in on certain things and certain emails and all of that. And I use my phone for coaching, so there's a few times where I'm going to be on my phone. But yeah, for me personally, it's completely not using any devices. I don't know if I'm going to include the television or not. I'll see how it goes. So we'll just kind of see with that. But when it comes to the amount of time, oh, hey G. Okay. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. That's a really good point to bring up. When you wake up, because of the waves that you're getting into in your sleep, if within the first 15 minutes you're getting onto your phone, what that's doing is it's going to kind of like start to just start you from a bad place. It's like starting with having donuts for breakfast, right? Instead of maybe, I don't know, like eggs and bacon and stuff like that. So almost think about it that way, right? But it's those first 15 minutes after you wake up, that's going to set the tone for what your levels are going to be for the rest of the day. It's also going to set the tone for that feeling of needing to check, 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 check. So even if you just wait 15 minutes, right, you can make your bed, brush your teeth, do whatever it is that you need to do, and then go ahead and, check your phone and do all that. But obviously, a lot of us have alarms set on our phone. I know I do. What I'll do sometimes, and I'm not even joking, is I'll put my phone in the closet or I'll put my phone in a drawer to force me to get up, go turn it off, and you just have to tap most of the time, and then leave it. Leave it right where it is. So it is possible to do, and it's possible because I do it often. I'll do the short bursts of it often, and then I'll go on longer stretches too, just when I feel like there's been a lot of overstimulation when it comes to screens. Also wanting to set a good example to my children who are being brought up in this world of constant overstimulation and not really knowing yet how that's going to affect them. So I want them to see an example of, hey, mom is, not on the phone or on the iPad or on the MacBook or on, whatever other devices we have. And I want them to see that it's possible, right? Because a lot of times people, again, with that dopamine, that hit, right? It's not so much a hit, man. You are losing, you're wasting the dopamine when you could be doing other things that I talked about in that first live stream earlier. And then we had the like malfunction or whatever it was that happened. At least that's what I saw on my end. I don't know what happened on y'all's end. But then, oh, and then I lost the thought because I was talking about the blackout. If someone can remind me, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to take a sip of my kombucha real quick. But also, too, so social media, right? That's another one. The scrolling. Where does that happen a lot on? That happens on pretty much every social media platform. Even this one, even YouTube, right? There's the scrolling through the videos of whatever the algorithm has, right? And what I'll say is that what I like about YouTube is that there are so many different things that you can actually like learn. There's so many things that you can do. Um, okay, G, so explain to me when you say that, when you say heavy helmet, what does that mean? If you could, I would greatly appreciate it so much if you could explain that to me. Um, but yeah, so yeah, that is a pretty good summary of what I talked about. So I guess I don't have to sum too much of this stuff up. Okay. So yeah, so you have to remember, right? So with exercise, we're going to get endorphins and things like that. But dopamine, the dopamine hits, right? That's us getting addicted to our phones and all of that. All of these things, when you're exercising, right? The fatigue from exercise is going to help you sleep, okay? But the screen fatigue is going to make you lethargic like a good amount of time because again it's overstimulation, and this is something that has not been happening until the last, I don't know, 15-20 years, when cell phones, started to get really popular and all of that. I remember my parents getting their very first cell phone, and I was like, "What is that?" Of course, it was just buttons. There wasn't a screen, but now that it's evolved to screens, that's where we're finding a lot of danger. And as far as feeling like your head is heavy, right? So definitely during this time of a detox, even if you're just doing a detox for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, really thinking and about what are you eating, what supplements, if any, are you taking, because you want to think about the fuel that you're using to power through your day, right? If we're not thinking about that, then we're kind of putting ourselves at a disadvantage. And I don't want anyone to be in a disadvantage. I myself have just started with a couple more new supplements, right? So, and I'm seeing the benefits. I'm seeing a lot of benefits actually. One of them is GABA. So you can look that up. I just think that it has been incredibly helpful with me personally. So, and they sell it over the counter like everywhere. So, you can go to the grocery store, you can go to Walmart, you can go to whatever you have in your specific location and kind of look into that. Because when you're saying fatigue and you feel like your head is heavy, GABA might actually be helpful for you. But again, I currently do not hold a certification in nutrition and supplements and all that stuff. I have in the past, but it's not current right now. So I'm just saying what works for me and what helps me, and it might be helpful to you. I just don't know, you know. Um, but outside of that, everything's been covered. Those are my ideas because I really do want people to be able to engage in a detox, get that reset, get that like going back to how it was. Oh, you're so welcome. Absolutely. It's yeah, I because I get it, right? um and you might even find too that if you're doing a digital detox, just that alone, you might even start to see benefits. It could be for 15, 20, 25, like, slowly kind of finding a time when you're not busy, when you don't need to be on a device. And even if it's just choosing to like do some breath work instead, right? Breath work is really good for kind of that feeling of fatigue and all of that as well. So I would definitely consider those things as well. So if there are any questions, it can be about this particular subject or it can be about other things. Either way, it's totally okay. That's what I'm here for, a little bit longer, to answer any questions, respond to any feedback. I just felt like this was such an important topic to cover. If this isn't covered, if people aren't able to find a way to be without their devices for chunks and periods of time, what we're doing is we're creating a world of addicts, right? And that's the absolute opposite thing that I would want. I don't want a world of addicts. I want people to be balanced, right? That's the whole goal, that's the whole intention, is just trying to find a little bit of balance. And even if you have to start small with like 15 minutes of shutting everything off, and then just increasing it, if not daily, then maybe every other day or every 3 days, however you decide, you can do that. Like, that's totally fine, right? Starting small, there's nothing wrong with that. Just because I'm like saying that I'm going to do the majority of 48 hours doesn't mean anything. So, okay, gee, that's a great question. Um, I don't. So I wake up at about 4 or 5 in the morning. But I don't start to make content or do my own practice of yoga until about 9 o'clock. And I haven't really found it to be um, different. I've done yoga like super early in the morning. I have. But me personally, I really haven't found any difference in when you're doing it. I think the more important thing is what type of yoga are you doing, right? Like vinyasa yoga is like very flowy, very it's a flow. And then there's other types of yoga that are a little bit different. There's things that are a little bit militant, like the hot yoga, right? Um, I won't say the name of the person that is, big for starting the hot yoga trend here in the US, because I don't want to promote him in any capacity because of things that he has done and has also been accused of. I think it's disgusting. So, but what I will say is, I literally am practicing hot yoga in a way every single time I'm making content, because it's just so hot and humid outside. So I don't know if it shows on the videos, but I can tell you, like, my entire stomach, just droplets of sweat. So, and again, it doesn't have to be my yoga. It doesn't have to be my videos. It can be anyone's videos. I just think that yoga is a really great form of exercise and a great way to relax. Again, depending on what style of yoga you're doing. With my yoga videos, personally, I try to incorporate movements that are more like engaging for the muscles, right? I try to make it a workout. Um, and I've gotten some feedback on 10-minute yoga. Some people were a little bit upset. I think that it's, been able to evolve into something that is like 10 minutes of not just like super simple, easy yoga, but 10 minutes of, harder yoga. So I think what I'm going to do is go back to having more like restorative yoga for my 10-minute yoga videos. I think I'm going to start a new series. um, Maybe like a 15-minute yoga one. And then I'm just going to start from the beginning, be like, okay, this is for, like a workout. And then, of course, the long version of my yoga videos, those are intended for everything. But the ones that end in 0 and 5 are mobility. So those are more restorative. Those are where you're going to get relaxation. Strongest, but since I'm working, I now prefer yin. Oh, nice. Yeah. So that's also kind of where I'm going with. It's not going to be like all the time, right? I like to have variety in the Yoga with Jenna series, but that's where I'm going. I'm going into holding poses for longer periods of time, right? 2 minutes more. And again, vinyasa is the more flowy kind. I want to also incorporate more of like the yin yoga. I actually already have some stuff that I've been working on for that. So that's really funny that you say that. That's crazy. Great minds think alike. um, but yeah, yeah, yeah. It's weird that I'm telling you. It's weird that you said that because that's what I was, looking at, working on. Um, it's just that the longer, so Jenna with yoga is not watched fully by very many people, including my subscribers. And I think it's because it's long. So that's why what I want to do is incorporate that 15-minute yoga and then have that series start up, sometime soon. And then also have, the yin type or the yin style yoga be in the yoga with Jenna, since those are longer. And either way, whether it's something that people are really like going to do themselves or not, it's a good workout for me. It's a good thing for me myself. So I don't really trip out about all of that stuff too much. I would love for the channel and the community to grow. I would absolutely love that. I was not aiming to get monetization, but I'm so grateful for it now because I'm able to do these live streams and communicate and engage with people and get to actually know my subscribers, the people that have been with me for a while, or the people that, are just wanting to actually engage with me. I really enjoy that because it's really interesting to hear what their experience has been with my channel. And my goal, of course, has always been to help and to provide stuff that, yes, it's for y'all, but it's also for my own clients. So they can just be like, okay, if I need to do this, then I can do that as well. So, but I definitely want to do some type of wellness coaching live stream for the people that join the memberships. I'm excited about that. I think that's going to go really well. Also, it is really helpful because it's much less expensive than what it costs to coach with me, right? So I'm looking forward to that being pursued and that growing in the future. And also too, because when I love to live stream. I was doing it on Rumble for quite some time. But I gave that up, and I gave up another thing that I was doing as well. and I just wanted to focus on YouTube because that's where I have felt like my engagement has been, the best received, I should say. And I really appreciate greatly, all of my subscribers, all the people that, watch my content, watch my live streams. It really does mean a lot to me, but it's more important to me that people are getting help and people are, receiving something out of it, right? So that's really what matters. So are there any other? Oh yeah, there are. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, everyone is different with the things that they like. In the yoga with Jenna stuff, it's instructional, right? Yeah, that's a great idea. So I actually include some of the pranayama yoga breathing, or one of the breathing techniques, in some of my meditations because I actually feel different. And I'm like, if I feel different, I know that anyone doing this with me is going to feel different. And there might even be a live stream of, yoga. We're going to see. That was something that got kind of popular on Rumble. So that might be something in the future, but as for right now, it's mainly, topics and stuff like that. And that's what the videos are for, is for all of that type of content. So outside of that, though, I'm so happy to hear that you have had this experience with yoga and all of that. I'm so glad that you found stuff that works for you. I would say just now, maybe focus on the digital detox and try not to use your phone for those first 15 minutes after you wake up. Do the other stuff that you need to do, and then you can go back to using your phone. So if there's nothing else, no other comments or questions, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. But again, I'm so grateful to everyone that participated in live chat, that, came on in to view. Hopefully in the future, people will not be shy to get into live chat, right? Because it is awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, it's going to be really beneficial. So, yeah, with that being said, so there won't be any content being posted for the next 2 days. So just so everyone knows that, but that's why I have, a lot in all of my series of yoga. So that way you can just go back and do whatever. And, but yeah, the next 2 days, digital detox. So I'll be back with something on Sunday, whether it be content wise or doing a live stream. Oh, are you from Detroit? I have a cousin that lives in Michigan, actually. I don't know how far she is from there, um, but yeah. So, anyways, I am, again, as always, super grateful, and I appreciate jumping onto this live stream after the first one got all screwed up, and I will see you guys on the next live stream. We'll see if that's Sunday or not. But yeah, and thank you for the like. So have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Be well and stay wild.